Hey, what's good, everybody? You know what time it is. Your boy Jeffrey L. Boney, another live edition of Real Talk Junkies here on the Forward Times Facebook page and Instagram pages. Make sure you share this link with your neighbors, your friends, those you love, those you don't love, those you like and you don't like. It don't matter. They need to listen to today's show. It's going to be a fire show, as it always is. Today's guest is no exception. I have as my guest today, before I bring her up and give her the proper introduction, Miss Kim Roxie. She is the founder of Lamique Beauty. It's a vegan makeup line seeking to build women's self-esteem and reveal their natural beauty. We're in the midst of Women's History Month, and we could not have a better guest to talk about some things today. Formulated without parabens, and she'll talk about that. Kim created an environmentally conscious product with a message for multicultural women. Lamique stands for love and makeup and kindness, because beauty is revealed and not applied. At the age of the ripe age of 21, Kim founded Lamique Beauty out of her college apartment. She then opened her first store in Sharpstown Mall. Now it's called something like Plaza de Americas or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what is it? Plaza de Americas?
De Mayo, something
like that. Anyway, Lamique Beauty has been highlighted as one of the 8 top Black-owned beauty companies by BET. The Lamique line was featured in select Macy's stores, making Kim the youngest Black woman to launch a cosmetic line inside of a major department store. Mayor Parker, former mayor Anise Parker, named June 23rd Kim Roxie Day, while being a scholar on the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Top 30 Influential Women of Houston by Mr. D. Mars, and winner of the Odyssey Media Keys to Success business pitch. I introduce to all of you, some of you have got your face, what they say, face beat? Ain't that what they say? The face beat by this individual. Her name is Miss Kim Roxie. Welcome to Real Talk.
Woo! Let's go, Kim. Let's go, Kim.
Kim Roxie.
I give my little dance and stuff.
Hey.
I see you got your face beat for the show today.
Yes.
So welcome to Real Talk Junkies on today. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I wanted to have Kim on today, not just because it's Women's History Month, and she's a successful African-American female business owner here in the country. But I want to, talk about some things relative to generational wealth. We had a great conversation this past Saturday.
We did. Out here.
Yeah, we were just trying to get something to eat across the street.
Across the street at the food park that's popping. With the good vendors.
Yes, right across the street from the Forward Times.
Right across the street.
But we were talking about some things, but I want to get into that. But let's talk about you and your business first. Those that may not know you, they need to know you. So let's talk about 21 years of age.
Yeah.
What made you want to start your own makeup line?
Yeah, just I must say, first of all, I had to make myself a job. Let's be very clear.
Well, explain.
I was graduating from Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Houston. And anybody who's ever heard my story before, you might have heard me say that I was kicked out of high school at 16. And you got girls, Jeffrey, right? So, to find out your girls, sort of get kicked out of high school, that's not something we go and brag about, right? But that happened to me. And I had to go to alternative school, and I really felt like people had kind of threw me away. I kind of felt like people had turned their back on me. I was a varsity cheerleader. I was the accompanist. I played piano growing up. So I was the accompanist to the choir. I played the keyboard for the jazz band. And when I got kicked out of high school, all of a sudden I got labeled at risk. You're not going to be able to go to college, and people talking about me. So I just felt like everybody had kind of turned their back on me. So I remember being in alternative school and sort of, having this chip on my shoulder, like, you know what? I'm going to be successful one day and I'm going to show everybody. So you're talking to a person who kind of has that inside of them.
Yeah.
And everything I do is a part of that. A part of that 6-year-old girl is a part of everything I do.
Wow.
And so I remember I'm going off to college. So I went to go to Atlanta to go to school because I saw Black folks there that were doing stuff. And I was like, this is where I can, forget my reputation. I can go here and become someone. And I started working at the makeup counter because my parents.
Makeup counter where? At one of the stores?
Yeah, at one of the stores in Atlanta. Because my parents couldn't afford for me to be in school, plus afford my rent, plus afford all these things. And so I had to work. And so I went to the mall, like, young people do, looking for a job,
right.
And ended up getting this job at this makeup counter. Had never touched anybody's face before in my life. But, we show up. So they hired me. And so I went in. But you know what, Jeff? I fell in love with making women feel good about themselves. like how you sit up and have conversations with people, you know, and just learning about them. And then at the end, them being like, whatever you put on my face, I want to buy. I became the top sales producer. And my manager in my store, she came to me a couple of weeks into work and she was like, what are you telling these women?
Mhm.
And I was like, what you talking about? She was like, you don't even know how to do makeup. She was like, how you selling more makeup than me?
Wow.
And I was like, I love making these women feel good about themselves. And
Yeah.
so then they would buy anything I put on them.
Wow.
So that started my career in beauty and in makeup. And so at 21, I needed a job when I graduated, and I saw in Houston.
So wait a minute, let's backtrack.
Yeah.
You graduated from Clark,
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
And what was your degree?
Public relations.
Okay, but you realized that you really wasn't getting a job offer or whatever in public
no,
relations.
No, because I had no internship, so no.
Okay, so because this was something that you did,
yeah,
as far as a job in the mall that you stumbled across by just going to the mall, you capitalized on something that you were taught to do or paid to do.
Yeah.
And you loved it so much that you just said, you know what, let me try to do this on my own.
Yeah.
So you were at the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so give me the whole rundown of how that began.
Yeah. I mean, it came from, what you gonna be when you grow up. And so then I was there and I was thinking about how in Atlanta, the celebration around my skin tone and that beauty, I was like, we don't have it in Houston. I want to bring that to Houston. And I was like, then I started to think about how when I was at the makeup counter, I had to make products that fit the women and all that kind of stuff. So that started me into dabbling into trying to make my own products and figuring this out. And so that started. I said, I can open up a makeup shop in Houston. I went to Shopstown Mall to go see about a lease and opening up a store. And I said, I'm going to do eyebrows. I'm going to do lashes. I'm going to do makeup on people. And that started my start in the business.
You know, I think about so much how we patronize other businesses that are in our communities, namely the nail salons and many of the beauty supply stores that are not owned by African Americans. But we utilize these products, and but I'm so excited to hear that you were working for a company that was not Black owned in the mall when you went looking for a job, and you learned all of the aspects of the ins and outs of that industry of makeup and cosmetics and stuff. But you decided, because you said I couldn't find a job, you created a job. So many times people work for companies or have opportunities and they get taught. I remember, I'm a former banker.
Yeah, you were.
I was Mutual Bank.
Yeah.
I remember one of my bigger clients. He was a Caucasian male, and he worked for a company like Brown and Root for so many years.
Yeah.
And his job was he would uproot the pipes from out of the ground, clean them, and put them back in the ground. Sounds simple, right?
Yeah.
But the company, Brown and Root, was getting paid millions of dollars for these different projects, and he was getting paid, pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't making millions of dollars doing what it is that they were being paid to do. But he was being paid to do what they were getting paid.
Yeah.
So he realized, you know what? If I buy a piece of equipment, I know the equipment that's needed. I know how to do the work. All I got to do is save up my money or get an investor, which he got his family member to invest in buying a piece.
Got his family member.
Got his family member to buy a piece of equipment, and he basically left Brown and Root and said, "Hey, I can do this for y'all for less."
Yeah.
But he still was getting paid, but he was getting paid slightly less than what that contractor they were paying Brown and Root. And so nowadays he's a multimillionaire.
Wow.
And has been able to flip that money to other businesses like storage facilities and all kind of stuff like that. But he did it because he learned the craft.
Yeah.
And it dawned on him, you know what, man, I do this every day for them and they get paid millions and I'm getting paid pennies. So let me do it for myself. So I'm so excited to hear your story on that.
Yeah.
So you're 21, you started this business. What were the biggest challenges starting a business?
Well, what's so funny, you mentioned other, people being in our community capitalizing on our spending power. So women, Black women spend 80% more on beauty products.
80% more than
Yeah.
any other race?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and so that's 9 times more than the average woman. And so the thing about it
I didn't know
is, so the thing about it is that I remember being at Sharpstown Mall, and my name is Kim, right? That's my legal name. And people in the mall, in the nail shops, would play like they were me, would say Kim, like, you know, go along those different names. And would try to get customers who would come into the mall looking for me. They were hearing about me, about the way I did eyebrows and all of that. They wanted to come see me. But because the culture was so used to going to nail shops, they almost kind of tried to trick and manipulate people into thinking it was them, but it was really me. But because people were not used to coming to another sister to come get her eyebrows done or get her lashes done or all that kind of stuff, they tried to do that. So I remember that being a challenge. So I remember like fighting for my name, like, no, this is me.
Oh, wait a minute. But what you're saying though is that in their psyche, there's no way a black woman could be doing this. And so you had to fight with the paradigm that people had that a black woman is not qualified to do, or a black person is not qualified to do what minority or the Asian population. Let's just be 100, because most of them are Asian. You know, they do the nails and the eyebrows.
And they come in our community to do it, right? But at the same time, don't really celebrate our culture in the way that we should.
Or give back.
At
all.
How about that? Because I remember having my store, and all the time people would come with their churches. Y'all know, hey, shout out to all of y'all, like that would come for your different events where I would get souvenir booklet ads. But those nail shops, they never get no souvenir booklet ads and our stuff.
But they expect us to do it when you're black. You know, they expect you to buy the ad and give to the Little League football team.
I sponsor the Little League football team.
They expect that
on the Southwest side. I have done all of those things.
But we spend all our money with these other people.
Yes.
And we don't have any demands of them.
Any demand.
Whatsoever.
Any demands. And don't expect it.
No, don't expect it at all.
You know?
I agree.
And so I think that that's something for us to like realize that means I gotta take my money away from that. You know, for me, when I know that they were out there trying to act like they were me, so they could just, you know, keep capitalizing on that. And like when women would find out, they get so upset. And I said, yeah, that's the reason why we have to change the way that we spend our money, because it's no respect. It's no respect on us. We need to put respect on our name. So
at what point did you blow up? Did you become Lanique, the Kim Roxie that we all know?
You know, I think that it's over time. I think it's over time. It's been a grind. That was in 2004 when I opened up that place. It is 2022. And so for me, over the past 18 years, I have continued to build. And so being featured in different things and all that, that's great. But for me, it's every customer, every woman. I'm so excited to be here. Like, even when I look at you, I think of your wife, I think of your girls who've all, you know, been to my store before and have worn my products. I think of Karen. Like, to me, that's the blow up. The blow up is building these relationships that are multi-generational, that have made our business happen. And so now this Lanique 2.0 that I'm in, where we're all over e-commerce and doing all of these things, becoming on Ulta.com, making history, that's the blow up for me. Every single customer is a blow up for me.
I want to, because a lot of people really don't know you. They may know your work, but they don't know you. Let's talk about some of the people that you've had the privilege of doing makeup for.
Yes, well, okay, let's start with the
go JJ, go. Let's start with
let's start with JJ.
She clearly is the top of
she is.
Right.
She is. For many reasons. But yes, I mean, you know, also I've had the pleasure of doing, you know, the hem of this place, Karen Carter Richard. You know, one of my favorites that I love to do. And then, you know, people like our favorites, Yolanda Adams. People don't know, like, that was one of my teachers in elementary school. So when she walked inside of Lanique, I just went crazy, right? But she's, you know, one of ours. You think of Kathy Taylor, you think of Vanessa Bell Armstrong, you think of Latoya Luckett, you know, all these people that I've worked with just over the years. I just say from Houston. But I haven't even gotten to the other parts of the world.
But you also did some stuff with Miss America or Universe.
Yeah, well, I've done stuff with the Miss Black USA pageant.
Miss Black USA.
I've sponsored that for many years. And we've been a sponsor to that pageant. Miss Black Houston, been a sponsor to that pageant. Been a sponsor to the Miss Black America pageant. We've done a lot of work.
And most recently, the mayor's daughter.
Oh yes, yes, my girl Ashley.
And you were in the wedding.
Yes, I was in the wedding. I had the pleasure of being a bridesmaid. It's my first time ever being a bridesmaid in a wedding of someone that was not my sister. Biological sister. So I am so excited. Yes, and did her makeup. Y'all can see her pictures on. The pictures are off the chain.
Yeah, right.
That was a whole parade from the engagement photos that we did to the bridal. So Ashley Turner. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying that you've had your hand on a lot of different people who are of influence, and those that are just regular everyday citizens. And the thing that I like about you is that you treat everybody the same.
Oh my goodness!
That you don't treat anybody as if they're so much bigger than them or so little, or like you just Jeffrey Bone.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
So where do you think you got that from?
My mom, my dad, my parents. I got that from my parents, my family. My mom was my rock, and my mom was very patient, very humble. My mom put her makeup on to go work at the post office. Okay, my mom would sit in her vanity, put on her makeup. You think she going to an office job, sitting in the corner in a C-suite? Okay, Mama is going down to the post office downtown. Okay, to go sort mail.
Wow.
But she showed up, and she always put her best face on all the way through. But then on top of that, she treated other people well, and my dad too, And so I think I get that from my parents. I get that from my family, because I feel like everybody's a celebrity. Everybody has somebody who celebrates you. If it's your child, if it's your cousin, a coworker, somebody's celebrating the heck out of you. You're important to somebody. And so I approach everybody in that way. I always would tell my team, and I tell them now, we treat everybody like they're Michelle Obama, right? We treat everybody like you're the first lady. Like we don't take, this person is more important. I don't play by that at all, because I believe that if I have the power, and I believe I do, to reveal the beauty of women, then I have to see the beauty of everyone, and that's just something I have to be able to do.
Something that we talked about Saturday that really I was excited to talk about today on the show is about generational wealth, and you just talked about your humbleness and how you view the world coming from your parents. That was passed on to you generationally, but it had to be something that not only did they instill in you, but that you had to embrace and accept. And we were talking about some similarities you and I have, about some land in different parts. I know in my case in East Texas, to which my great grandfather acquired after he didn't have any formal education of any sort, not even elementary school education. He was straight off the plantation, and upon being free, was able to buy not only acres and acres of land, but was smart enough to buy the mineral rights. And you were talking about how that was also the same thing that occurred in your family. And the reason I wanted us to talk about this is because, we talk about, you building this successful business, but then what, right?
Yeah.
What happens when you're no longer here?
Yeah.
You talked about Karen Carter Richards, who's the owner of the Forward Times, and how her father, Julius P. Carter, started this business in 1960, and passed away in 1971, and her mom picked up the mantle in 1971 after his passing, and she passed away in 2010. And just thinking about the fact that she is a second generation publisher and has carried on this business, but the things that were passed on to her were the building that we're sitting in now, the land across the street where the food truck park is, next door
where we was eating at,
and then next door where they're doing the car cleaning, the car detailing, and all of this stuff and other things. But it took them having, not just being successful business owners, but putting themselves in a position to pass on that business. But they instilled that in her, but she had to accept it, because she could have jettisoned it and closed the doors and walked away.
Yeah.
And so many times we see stories and hear stories where we lose so much, we squander so much. And so talk about your family.
Yeah, and this is y'all have to know this was such an organic conversation that we had.
Right.
But think about again, like my family, and I never knew that about your family. And when I opened up to you, I was like, yeah, we act like entrepreneurship is new,
Right.
but entrepreneurship got us here,
Right.
And so when I think about my family, Frank Bride, who was my great grandfather, having him understanding the story. I was talking to my great aunts. I have one aunt that she'll be 90 in May, and we were talking, and her mother, who lived to be 110, my great grandmother Annie Lee Brock, who when I was in college, I talked about being in Atlanta, I got to be around her my college years and really could be cultivated by her, and hear her stories. But when I talked to them, Frank Bride was loved by his slave owner, my great grandfather, and so they gave him land when they did the free, emancipated and all of that. They gave him about 200 acres, and even though like my great grandmother, she lived on the property, I was like, how did all that happen? How did I get that? So they told me the story. They said, but people would steal the land, and you couldn't say nothing. Right? Mm-hmm. Because if you said something, you could get lynched, you could get, anything could happen. So you couldn't go down to the court and sort of fight for it, like the things that we try to do now.
Right, legally.
Yes, legally. Because folks was legally getting lynched.
Mm-hmm.
And so
legally allowed to be lynched.
Exactly. And so I listened to that story, and now our family, which is Air property now, right? And there's many of us on it. But they're drilling oil, they're getting those natural resources, like you talk about the mineral rights, and that generational wealth is being passed down to our family as a collective. But the point is that it's the fact that that's just something that's in our family, and for a lot of us, we have some of these things, but we don't dig enough to really find out about it. Or appreciate it, right? Whatever it is, whatever the amount, whatever the place in which it is, or whatever the case might be. And so I just think this is like a big discovery, because I started talking to you about it and you tell me about your family. I'm like, really? Y'all got that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it would make us have a different attitude. I'm of the millennial generation. And I think that a lot of times we sort of feel like, we got to start this, we got to get this, but it's actually been happening. Mm-hmm. But I told you I have a degree in PR, but the propaganda that's put out there tries to make us believe that none of this ever existed in our family. Mm-hmm. We come from nothing. Mm-hmm. And that sort of thing. And it's like, that's not really the truth.
Yeah.
Whether we lost it or not.
Yeah.
That's not really the truth.
And I know in looking at the paperwork and seeing my great grandfather's signature, 1900, signing the documents to acquire this land. And I'm talking about acres and acres of land, and having the wherewithal to actually purchase the mineral rights, which is separate and apart.
Yeah.
And that today, my family, and this is on my mother's side, are benefiting financially for something that he didn't have no college degree. Mm-mm. There were no libraries, there wasn't no internet, no Google, no, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no Goldman Sachs 10,000 program. None of that. Wasn't no Chamber of Commerce. None of that. That was accessible to them. This was a person that just like so many families that have benefited from sweat equity or having relationship building, networking.
Yeah.
And this was you have to understand. I mean, back in 1900, and this is like what 35 years after the Emancipation Proclamation signed and whatnot. Yeah. So this is not a long time. That this individual was able to acquire acres and acres of land in East Texas, and the mineral rights that's now in 2022 still benefiting.
That's
122 years later.
That's what we're talking about. Same thing. My family's out of Alabama. This is going on in Evergreen, Alabama.
Yeah.
Where this is happening, they actually named the area after my family's last name, Brytown. And Brytown is where my family owns all of that area. And when I see, these oil companies that are drilling, and our family, they go up there like, look at that drill, they're drilling, they brought that oil. So to your point, many years later, air property is in the family, right? And we're benefiting from that.
Right.
And just know that like we don't have to sort of act like we don't benefit, right? And we don't have this within our families. I would almost challenge people to go back in their history though, and to see, because it's more than what we think.
What do you think our biggest challenges are mentally with the way we think as a people collectively? I just wrote my first book called "Don't Argue with Me."
Don't argue with him.
Don't argue with me.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But in that though, I mean, I talk a lot about how we we've strayed away from Black love and collective unity, and we try to act like we're doing it all independently, like we're the first one to do it. You hear a lot of firsts. I'm the first Black to do this or the first to do that. But a lot of things have been happening, like we talked about before, and there was such a camaraderie amongst the Black community by force. Of course, we had no other choice but to support one another. But when I think about the Asian community, the South Indian or Indian communities, and Middle Eastern communities, and even where we come from, Africa, a lot of Nigerian community. There's seemingly a lot more outside of the United States, or for people that are from outside of the United States, a better understanding of collective unity that we've moved away from after so-called immigration.
Yeah.
What do you think our current state is?
Yeah, that's because Black folks get paid for their rags to riches stories.
You're going to have to elaborate on that.
It's commerce in our independence. So when you talk about, we act like, we're so independent, we're the only ones and we're the first, that's because society has rewarded us for that.
Preach, Kim.
So,
Preach, Kim.
So the thing is, I mean, again, back to PR. I'm about, building images, building all this. It's about the fact that people are benefiting off of that story, and society, white society, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it, that's behind a lot of the media and stuff like that. They like that story, right? And that's the story that sort of gets perpetuated in that narrative, because that's what, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of y'all anyway. Right? And so then when we say that kind of stuff, the first, the only, and we take that, we start clapping.
Yeah, we go,
oh, she's the only one. And we're like, why are we clapping?
Yeah.
This is a problem.
Right, it's a huge issue, yeah.
This is an issue. When we say first, and like for me, I've had first in my situation, but when I say first and it's disgusting, right? Because that's not supposed to be that way. And so I think that for us, it's like we some folks, again, society has told us that that's the story, that's the one we should be proud of. And that's when we start to go inside of sometimes. And not saying that everybody's intent is there, us as a people, our intent. We want to break boundaries and do stuff, but I'm talking about from the media perspective, what they want to reward us for. And want to keep us thinking that it's, it's not, y'all didn't do this, you didn't do that, y'all the only ones, and sort of keeping that going. And I believe that's what's sort of been happening. And because if we go back in history and we look, then we'll realize that a lot of times we only the only now because the other one got killed or got slayed or executed or whatever, assassinated. Whether it was a business, whether it was the leader, whatever the case might be, burnt up, whatever it was. So now you having to start over.
Right.
We're not clapping for that. We're not applauding that.
Right.
But that's what's happened.
Yeah, there's so many success stories after during Reconstruction,
Mhm.
we had so many gains that African Americans had. They were governors, they were senators,
Mhm.
they were representatives
Mhm.
in many of the southern states, even. And then they were business owners.
Mhm.
And you think about Black Wall Street, and you think about Rosewood and different other communities,
Mhm.
all across the United States
Mhm.
where Black businesses were thriving.
Thriving, and to be honest, we're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're right here on the Alameda corridor, and when I look at like my outfit, I know y'all see these banging boots. Okay, I know y'all see them. Okay, I got them from Melodrama.
Yeah.
Right here. This dress I have on, I got it from Quache Boutique, which is in Pearland, a Black woman-owned boutique. My hair, I'm not afraid to say this is a good wig. Okay, and I got it from Upgrade Boutique, which is right here on Westheimer. Brittany, the founder over there. I'm wearing Lamique Beauty, my brand. Right, like everything I can go through, I can tell you, I got it from Black folks.
Yeah.
We're still doing it. We can do it.
Yeah.
It's possible.
So why don't we do it collectively?
Well,
I mean, how do we change that?
Yeah, well, you got to get around some new people because we do. We was eating at the food park.
Right.
Black.
We could
have been anywhere else.
Could have been anywhere else. Yep.
But we came there to get our food, our lunch, or whatever the case might be.
Right.
We are doing it, and we just have to just let people know. I don't know who you hang around, but we do.
Right. But what about those that don't want to change? They feel like they good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they good with their current status and their current situation, but they're not because collectively we're not good.
No. And I think that, those are the folks that must have been asleep in 2020. Their alarm clock didn't go off.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if anything showed us a sign, as much as that did. Also, too, I think when you start to go in business, so we talked about like generational wealth and family businesses being passed down. That's a form of generational wealth. A lot of times when you go in business as a Black business owner, you start to realize the economic power. And like, I can't afford to do things that are not consciously. I can't afford to not be a conscious shopper or vote or whatever. Like, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you learn it as a business owner. So I would say, for folks that have not woke up yet, if they would just to take and look at if they have any complaints, if they start to want to open up a business, if they want to do something, they need to look around and see if I would start to use my money as my power and start to use it like that, like it's a weapon. Start using your money like it's a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like just give it to use it as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna throw this pistol out there.
Right.
Use my money over here.
Right.
I'm gonna buy over here. I'm gonna use this realtor. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use this. Like start to think like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can become we become the united front that we talk about, and that's what the side I want to be on.
What has been your biggest disappointment, man, in the Black business community, dealing with some of your fellow Black business peers, as far as some things that you've heard or seen that you'd be like, I can't believe that you think that way?
Yeah, I think just forgiveness.
Explain it.
Like, I only thing I get disappointed about is like when we don't forgive each other.
Mm-hmm.
You go somewhere, you waited too long, or whatever the case might be. Forgive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Same way you're gonna forgive.
Papa those when they mess up your order.
And they do it all the time.
Yeah.
So forgive. That's forgiveness. Rather I go to a place, I buy something, it broke easily or something. There's nothing wrong with wanting the best quality or you pay for something, but just forgive, right? Mm-hmm. I just get disappointed when we want to go out and project our disappointments, rather going to the side, talking to someone, having that conversation.
Now, they want to go on Facebook.
They want to go on Facebook and rant off and that kind of thing. But I think that forgiveness piece is big. And saying things like, that's why I don't shop for Black businesses because of, one thing that made you upset. That's not the way. That's not the way to look at things, right? So I think that's the part. Because Black women are opening up businesses at the fastest rate right now, and so I think that for us, again, we can't afford to say stuff like, "Oh, I don't shop there. They're Black business because they did one thing." That's why I tried to shop Black business. What kind of sense does that make?
Mm-hmm.
If we don't shop Black business, we're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. And you think about, we talk about generational wealth, you know, us patronizing you puts money in your family's pocket and on y'all's table, and it circulates the black community. It's stated that the black dollar only stays in the black community about 4 hours.
Yeah, it used to not be like that.
Right.
It used to not be like that. It used to circulate. I again hearing stories from my great grandmother and my great aunts. It used to circulate.
Yeah, a lot.
Because that's the only way. Because before desegregation, that's the only place you could shop at. So we got choices. That sort of messed us up, right? When we start to get options.
Yeah, options. When you can only buy from the meat.
Yeah.
You know, well, I gotta go to the meat.
And then that way, but then we build. So then that way our community is taken care of. Because you can tell through the integrity and the responsibility of our company, when we grow, we've raised over $500,000 for uninsured Black women to get mammograms. We have saved thousands of women's lives. I can go on record saying that. With our partnership through the Rose, the Sisters Network, I have been a sponsor to Angel Surviving Cancer. I could rant on about all the different folks that we have sponsored. Every dollar you spend with Elite is going to benefit us. It's just the way it is. It's set up that way. That's my business model.
But everybody's not thinking that way, is my point. And we got to get to a point where we challenge each other to do that, because I don't believe that. And when you do challenge, it's almost as if, you know, that lack of forgiveness or that lack of unity is exposed. You know, and it's like, you know, we feel like we've arrived. I ain't got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I used to live in Third Ward, or I used to live in South Park, I used to live in Sunnyside, but now I'm out in the woodlands or sugar land or pearland or whatever land, you know, and you feel like you've arrived. You know, like, oh, I've come so far.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Dr. Such and such. I got my MBA.
Yeah.
I actually remember a conversation. I hired another black firm to do some work for me, and another black firm had, you know, submitted an RFP to do the work, and I didn't choose them. And their response, they got mad at me, and you know what their response was? They don't even have an MBA. I got an MBA, and I was like, yeah, but I like their work better. You know, I mean, I don't care if you got an MBA or not, but that elitist, you know, type of response, that attitude is horrible. And I think it impacts our overall community, because you're not thinking, you're not excited and happy.
Yeah.
You know, you just didn't win that bill. You can't win them all.
No, you can't.
But you're, instead of being happy for this black woman-owned business, you as another black woman-owned business get mad or hate on this person. Why?
No.
That mentality has got to change.
It has, and because you gotta get in the habit. Like, again, when that other one wins, you win.
Right.
That might not be your opportunity. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yours come around.
Right.
Yours will come around. When it's your turn, you want somebody to be happy for you.
Celebrate you.
Right.
Yeah.
We tell our own kids that, right?
Exactly.
And sportsmanship, right? So, definitely, I think, you know, but that elitist attitude, the sort of, I can afford to buy this now, so again, back to options, so now I buy this instead of that. You know, I'm not too good for our boutiques. Right? There's not one designer store in the mall that can separate me from my black owned women boutiques. Okay, don't, and that's something I have to tell people. Like, you know, like that whole, we make it. Nielsen did a report that black women actually are the culture influencers. Everybody follows what we do, from fashion to the way we look. They said that we have this halo effect, that no matter the background or nationality of the person, we have a halo effect to affect their purchases. So we're bigger than our purchasing power.
Wow.
I'm bigger than my purchasing power.
Yeah, you just said a lot there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So my purchasing power is mine, but I affect Kim Kardashian's purchasing power, right? I affect and I use that for example to say that we affect so many other people. So what we do influences other cultures, right? And other people. And so we're bigger than what we purchase. So what I wear, what I show up is bigger than me. Because I know other people are going to go do what I do.
I know that that's one of the things that Michelle Obama did when it came to what dress is she wearing to this event or to the State of the Union or whatever. And it was, she's wearing, or to the inauguration.
Yes.
You know, she I think in one year she had an African American designer, and one was like an Asian designer, and you know, and it always was highlighted, fashion related, who she chose, but she was deliberate.
Very deliberate.
Because she knew who she was. She's the first lady.
Yes.
All eyes on me.
Yes.
I got this bully pulpit right now, or this attention, and everybody's taking a look at what I am doing.
And not only was she just the first lady, but she was first lady with a certain look and status and swag. That again, back to that report, that halo effect that affects everybody else. Meghan Markle. She wore our products recently. Her makeup artist used our products on her, and we got the most press we got in one day in a whole year.
Oh wow!
And
for those who don't know who Meghan Markle is, why don't you let
the
the people, who's married to?
It's Harry,
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry.
Okay.
You know, but and who has used her voice to shift culture.
Yes.
And shift the world, basically, and has represented as a Black woman.
Yes. Proud Black woman.
And so when she wore Lamique products, I started crying. Like when I found out. And it was an Asian makeup artist who, Daniel Martin, he's incredible. He's so conscious. And he named us as his favorite Black-owned beauty brow product. And he used it on her. And my thing is that he understood that she was going on the red carpet after the pandemic, and she hadn't been on the red carpet. And all eyes were going to be on her. And this was her first time leaving the palace, her and Prince Harry, getting on the red carpet. And when she was at the palace, she couldn't wear her makeup in certain ways. And so a part of her showing up with her makeup with like this bold eyeliner she had on and her brows and all of that, and when she showed up, it actually was making a statement. And saying almost like liberation statement. Wow. And so we were a part of an iconic moment that was speaking, the makeup was speaking what her voice did not even say. She was speaking through her lip. Yeah. And we're a part of that. Yeah. And it's moments like that I'm like, that's why I'm in business. That's why I'm in business.
So well, congratulations on that. I didn't even know that story. You know what I'm saying? You heard it here on Real Talk Junkie. But no, I mean, you know, I think that you're a phenomenal business owner, but your psyche, your consciousness about the power of your Black business and the influence that you have. But getting back to the generational wealth part, so you have a daughter. Yeah. So, you know, I know you probably lived to 110 like your great grandmother or whatever, or maybe longer. Yeah. But somebody's gonna have to run Lamique at some point. You're gonna try to live out the rest of your years without having to go and sell Lamique products, right? And put eyelashes on.
Right.
So have you thought about your future?
I did. You know, in 2018, I thought about my future. I was, mid 30s, and I started to think about my future. I said, okay, what is life going to look like for me 20 years from now? 10 years from now? And 110, right? I was like, what is life going to look like? And I started to make shifts then. And so I remember closing my brick and mortar makeup shop to take my business online and to really grow national presence with me.
No, you said 2018.
Yeah.
So this is before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, I'm sorry, Jim, I have to say it, God. I heard God speak to me.
No, don't apologize.
Okay, that it was time to make a move, and that I had to take my business online. And I was like, say that again, because this is working good. Yeah. People know who I am. People coming in. This working.
Good.
And it was like, no, we got to close it. Not doing bad at all. And I had to write a letter to my customers and tell them, how you gonna write a letter to your customers telling me, I feel this move. I got to close this store to go online. They're like, go online? What you mean? And I said, well, just follow my journey and just go with me, because I didn't really know how I was going to get there. And so I closed the store. I went out to Austin, Texas, and got inside of the tech ecosystem there, the tech community. And I wanted to build this online. I wanted to make it easier for you to buy makeup online than it was in person. And I started to build on that. And
in 2018.
2018, we built from 2018 to 2019. I had built augmented reality for you to virtually try on my makeup products online. We're building all this stuff. I'm in the trenches. I'm back in class. I'm building these things with engineers, all this kind of stuff. In 2020, we were due to launch at South by Southwest. South by Southwest got canceled. The pandemic happened. COVID-19 hit. We still launched, but we were launching online anyway.
Right. Wow.
Come on, my brother.
Come on, man.
Come on, my brother.
Look at God.
Look at God. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
And so I launched online, and we've been in this phase what we call a 2.0, online selling. We got some big things coming up. When I think about my daughter and generational wealth, I think about the fact that already my daughter has a village around her that has been sort of like passed down through her. People are saying to me, oh no, we got to do this for her because what you've done for us. That's generational wealth. Mm-hmm. I remember like my daughter, just based on that, to be honest, my daughter has never been an expense for me. She's actually been an asset. Mm-hmm. Even her. She gets online, she helps me sell products.
Mm-hmm. How old is she?
She started at 4 years old, she's 6 now.
Oh,
the pandemic happened at 4. And I had to start selling from home online. She was right there. And people were buying makeup with my daughter right there with me. So, I don't know exactly what the future holds, but I do know that what we're building already, I'm seeing the assets follow her already. Even her schooling. That's coming from, shout out to her teacher, Sharika, but that's coming from an asset, something that was sold into a long time ago that's coming back on her. And I just look at those kind of things, and sometimes we can skip over that, but I know I got to be grateful, because if it was not for the work that we've been out here doing, she wouldn't be benefiting already. And I'm thinking about her future. My daughter, 10 years from now, I'm thinking about great things for me, and the way that I want her, I'm already training her around being a boss, not just being the person. I made a job for myself, and I did that. But I'm training her to be a boss of the job, like how to be an executive, how to actually manage and treat other people, how to do that part, how to think high level. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm training her on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before we go take some questions from the audience.
Yes.
Who are some of your mentors?
Some of our mentors, Kathy Hughes. I did her makeup one time, and she became my mentor for life.
Radio One founder.
Yes, Radio One founder, Kathy.
No, it's called Urban One.
Urban One, yes, TV One, and all that kind of good stuff. But also, I have other mentors that are in the community, and if I start naming, and I start going. But I have a plethora of mentors. But definitely, Kathy Hughes is sort of one of those ones who really. She was the first person that said to me, "I'm your mentor." Mm. You know what I mean? Mm. So I always shout her out because she's the first person to say to me. I remember we were in Orlando at the Black Enterprise Conference, mm-hmm. and I had just done her makeup, and she said, "Come with me to this luncheon." And I said, "Okay." We had never talked about mentorship. It never came up. We go up to the table. She goes, "Oh, everybody meet Kim Roxie, my mentee. She has." And I'm like, "Oh." I am. So, okay.
Let me ride with this.
Yeah. And so it happened from there. But she actually, because I actually in business never knew I even needed a mentor. Mm-hmm. And so I was just gleaning from people, but I never knew I needed like this official, but she was the first person that did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Questions from the audience.
Question from the audience. KP Hodges asked, Kim, what is the name of the black purse designer?
The black purse designer? So I have Gregory and Sylvia's, who I love.
Okay.
Shout out to KP, Kelly. I have to shout her out because Kelly is such an avid Black-owned business shop. Mm-hmm. Kelly is actually one of my top customers.
Oh wow.
Her whole makeup bag. So I just have to shout her out because everybody ain't like that.
Yeah,
you talked about,
right.
but she is. So Gregor and Sylvia's is a big one that I love. That I got later. You know, Yolanda Adams came out with a purse line too. I had bought one her first material recently. So yeah, those are some of the ones I'm loving.
All righty. Kelly also shouted you out. She said you've been supporting all the Black businesses. Sister Circle.
Yes.
She's just naming 50,000 Black businesses in the chat that you. I said, Kelly, she learned how to type today. Lord have mercy, she active. So sincerely, she said thank you from the Sister Circle and so many other Black-owned organizations. So not only do you get support, you also pour out way more support. So that's from KP Hodges.
It's such a fulfilling life, though. People, you know, Jeff, no amount of money can buy happiness.
Yeah.
They say, you know, well, I can live in a bigger house and I can be unhappy in that. But when you have been, we talk about generational wealth. We also got to talk about generational things that are passed down. My grandfather committed suicide. My uncle committed suicide. I understand I'm at risk from a mental health perspective, right? And a part of me taking care of my mental health is me supporting. I want to see other people smile. I want somebody to say, this made a difference for me. That's a part of my mental health. For me to be like, you know what, this is a fulfilling life I'm living. You know what I mean? Because I've been on the other side too, where I used to buy a lot of designer stuff when I was younger, making money and all this kind of stuff, but it never fulfilled me. Now when I buy more Black-owned, women-owned, just more, I feel more fulfilled. You know what I mean? And that's something that money, sorry, can't buy.
Right. Okay.
We have 3 questions from the audience. The first one is a beauty question. If I'm not a makeup girl, I'm not really into the makeup. How can I still support Lamique? Do you have something for the not makeup girls?
I sure.
What is a not makeup girl?
Exactly.
JJ.
Well, JJ loves my naturally me lip gloss.
Yes.
So if you out there and you don't wear makeup, then you need to get that.
In the brow kit.
In the brow kit. You gotta get the brow kit because that's for your brows. Also, too, we have skin products right now. We have a subscription box, and in that subscription box, we have a rose gold oil for your skin. We have a brow lash rejuvenator, help your brows grow longer. We have a vitamin E stick. Look at Jeff like I want one. So it's these are all the skincare products. That's all it is. But yes, because I'm an esthetician actually, Jeff. I graduated from Houston Community College in aesthetics program. Okay. With my friend Leela, who's an esthetician too. But we have skin products as well. So for all of the non-makeup folks, you can still support us that way.
Okay. All righty, next question. So a lot of us know that you support the community through donations. We didn't speak enough about how your employment, how different, whether it's young adults with disabilities, like how does Lamique also support in every aspect?
Oh, I love that. So Jeff, our fulfillment center in Sugar Land, where we ship all our products from, it's called Ship Black. It's a fulfillment center out there run by a Black woman-owned business, Tiffany Townsend. And in there, when we ship out our products, we were her first customer. We got her started in business. Wow. And now she's growing and blowing up. But
that is awesome.
Yeah. It's so generational wealth, right? It's all about that. Yeah. Well, her son is on the autism spectrum. She started her son showing him how to pack and ship. Okay. And she started her business in 2020. Like she started her business, like I said, first customer for us. I mean, we were her first customer. She trained him so much. Now he got a full-time job at the United States Post Office. Wow. But she kept the program of training kids on the autism spectrum how to pack orders. So our orders are packed by kids on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
That is awesome.
In the final question, Kim, as we're getting ready to close out Women's History Month, there is still in the Black African American Black female community, there is still this thing that is only space for one of us, and there is not room for collaboration. So many people tell stories about how you welcome collaboration, you always uplift. What can we say to get through to our sisters that is room for everybody? What would you leave? Not just Black women with that would help us be able to collaborate and expand more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this platform. Jeff, first of all, I knew Jeff when he was doing the women's conferences. Thank you for doing those. You know, as a young business leader at that time, I would come to those and you would help, and you would always allow me to be a part. And what you helped build me up. You were part of my foundation, right? And so you helped build me up, help me give me a lot of confidence, because you would be there doing those kind of things. I'm saying that to say it's not just on other women to support other women. It's on our brothers to support women too.
Oh wow.
And you're an example of that. So first of all, let's just give you some flowers. I'm serious. A part of that day, but I say that to say also that for us, we're stronger together. And this is media. It's our responsibility to get the message out there. I'm still wearing my PR hat. We get it out there that no, supporting each other with actually a bigger united front.
Yeah.
So I just mentioned HCC, Houston Community College. I'm a business advisor for a company, Conchetta. She has a cosmetic line. She sells makeup. I'm her business advisor. I'm helping her think through how we gonna sell some more of her makeup, right? And I'm helping her with her growth plan right now.
But wait a minute, ain't that your competition?
No.
So you don't look at it that way?
No.
Okay. Well, how do you look at it?
I look at it as the more we have, the more market share we can take together.
Say that again.
Yeah.
I don't think they heard it.
The more we have, the more market share we can take together.
One more time, Kim, for the people in the back.
Yeah.
But, I said that we have a couple of more minutes to go. We can talk for forever. Thank you for sharing that. One of the reasons that I did start the One Woman National Business Conference was because you're right. It takes a village, and it takes brothers, men, to support the efforts of women, because first of all, you guys do things a lot more amazing and detailed than us. But at the same time, the vision, the wisdom. I know Sharwin, my wife, she's amazing
baby, I
business
love her.
boss as well, and just training our daughters. As far as they're the next generation of leaders. They're
working in the business.
They're already working in the business. Matter of fact, my oldest, she graduated with her college degree from University of Houston downtown with accounting.
Yeah.
And we were happy to have her be. We're her first employee.
Yep, that's right.
That's
right.
So she is one of the newest accountants for Bonus
Generational Wealth
Group. Yeah, they both got their notary public stamp. So they just got sworn in yesterday. And all that type of stuff, but these are generational moves. They're involved in all of our real estate engagement and collection of rent and all that stuff, and dealing with issues with the if there are repairs needed and all that. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be theirs. You talked about being a 16-year-old that was kicked out of school. What just simple message would you have for the younger generation of Black girls coming up that want to be the next Kim Watson?
Girl, stand up in your power. You so powerful. They trying to knock you down.
Look at them.
Girl, stand up in your power. They trying to knock you down. They want you to believe that you cannot be, because they know if you be, then you will change a whole another generation to be. And I think that for you, if you make a different choice, if you stand up in your power, then what'll happen is all the outliers will have to stand up and proclaim, like they're doing for our judge that's getting ready.
Yes.
Okay, to be confirmed on record, Judge Brown. Okay, they'll have to stand up and say overqualified, meets every requirement. We've been sleeping on this for so long, and that's what they will do to you. So stand up in your power, be, so everybody else can see.
There you go. Your message, young people and everyone. You don't have to be young to get that message. Stand up in your power and be. And I just thank you so much, Kim, for being here today. You're an amazing talent, and we're excited to have you be a part of our community and for being on Real Talk Junkies. We're going to have you back.
Thank you.
And so I just want to encourage everybody to check out Real Talk Junkies next Wednesday, 12 noon, here on the Forward Times Instagram, as well as Facebook pages. Always check it out. Wednesday, 12 noon Central Standard Time. I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Don't argue with me.
Woo!